experience. I'm going to share with you 6 ways design thinking can improve customer experience. So if you're ready, let's get started. The number one skill is the customer experience needs understanding of the mindsets of the customers, right? So how does design thinking help you understand the customer mindset? It as a template, it allows you to be able to understand the behaviors, the thinking patterns of the customer. In fact, there's an approach which is called as outside in as part of the design thinking approach. If you're able to use the design thinking, then you can bring in that outside in perspective, which means you can bring customers from for whom you're creating products and services inside your company. You bring the customer's mindset from outside and get a clarity about that so that you can create better products and better services. As a next step, every design thinking model has certain specific steps. And the number one step is what? The number one step is being able to empathize with the customer, which is being able to put yourself in the customer's shoes and feel for them. In fact, the neuroscience has proved that when you spend time with someone, your thinking, feeling patterns start to become similar to theirs. And that is so powerful. Every design thinking model starts with the step of empathy. Whether you look at Stanford model, whether you look at IDEO's model or interaction design model. To give you an example, there's been a radiologist in Israel. He used to study the reports of the patients. Somehow he felt that he was not able to connect well to the customer. So he requested that the pictures of the patients be pasted next to the report. And the moment they started to do that, the clarity, the depth, and the connection of the radiologist with the report significantly improved, and he was able to give a way better diagnosis, and it helped him and his patients. That is the power of being able to connect, being able to empathize with your customer. The third element, the design thinking helps you in terms of improving customer experiences. You're able to get fresh perspectives. It widens the campus. You look at different angles. It's called as divergent thinking. You just not look at the problem, but you look at various ways in which this problem can be solved. What could be the different reasons? What are the interconnections between this problem and so many other things? So you start to get very unique perspective, and that's really, really powerful for differentiating customer experiences. The other thing is it actually helps you differentiate between the perception and the reality. In fact, a survey was done in which companies were asked, how well do you think you take care of your customers on a scale of 100? How will you rate yourself? And they self-rated themselves on a scale of 100 at 80, most of them. Whereas the customers of the same service providers were asked the similar question, how well do you think your service provider serve you on a scale of 100? And you will be surprised to know that on a scale of 100, they rated the service providers at 8%. Now, there's a huge difference between 8 and 80%. The difference of 72%, and that's the perception versus reality. With design thinking, you're able to bring that customer perspective, the reality of the customer's opinion, into designing your products and services. And that's really, really powerful. If you're able to master this, if you're able to bring in the voice of customer into the room, into your services, then that could be a great differentiating factor. The number fifth benefit and element is co-creation. What does that mean? Though it's obvious, co-creating with your different teams, sales, marketing, service, technical, all these teams have a different way of looking at the customer, and some of them are actually not even directly meeting the customer. I have used design thinking tool where all these different teams came together in a room and their mind really opened. They started to appreciate each other's point of views, and more than that, they started to look at the customer through a similar angle. To give you an example, you must have heard the story of the 6 blind men and the elephant. And when they were asked to tell what is this is like. Each of them would feel the part of the elephant and start to imagine whatever part they touched. For example, somebody touched the legs, would think it's a pole. Somebody would touch the tail and think it is a rope, right? So similar is a story when it comes to customers. You would have seen in your organizations that everyone has a different perspective about the customer. So co-creation can be possible when you bring all the people in the same room and ask them to design, to bring perspective. There are certain steps that allows people to start thinking alike for the customer, and most importantly, start thinking for them. Last but not the least, the design thinking helps you to innovate. It gives you the opportunity to create something which was not even thought before. So for example, if you see the image here, the tomato ketchup bottle looked like a very similar what you see on the screen. If you would pour the sauce, the ketchup, it would come out running, and sometimes it would come out more than what you need, and it sometimes get wasted, right? With the new design, which is a squeezy bottle, now it's possible to control the flow. You can have as much as you want, and it makes it easy to even operate with this kind of a design, right? This is a simple example of outside-in approach, of innovation, of being able to think for the customers. So let me recap all the 6 points that we talked about today as part of design thinking. Number 1 is bringing customers understanding and being able to understand customers' mindset, which is more about the mind. The number 2 is being able to empathize with the customer, which is about the feeling. The number 3 is ability to get wide and fresh perspectives. Number 4 is really being able to differentiate what is the perception of the customer versus what's the reality, right? And number 5 is being able to co-create with different teams and even with the customer. And number 6 is ability to innovate and do something which was never even thought before. We go deep into this as part of our program, as part of our customer experience masterclass that we run almost every month. I'm going to leave my website detail where you can find out more about that, and also will leave an email ID where you can drop in a note if you want to be part of any of our future customer experience masterclass, which is focused on helping you achieve your objectives, whether it's a new job opportunity, whether it's a global job opportunity, or whether even if you're starting on your own. Let me thank you for watching this video, for being with me. Also, I will request you to leave in the comment if there's any other topic which can support you in your growth related to customer experience and digitization. I'll be happy to cover that in my subsequent videos. Thank you very much.